Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. So today we're going to be talking all about money, money, money. Yeah, we're going to be talking about money, your money in 2025. So we're going to think about your horoscopes, and I'm really going to try my best to get straight to the point today. Though, before we do get to your horoscopes, if you would like to learn more about astrology, I do have a podcast. It is called the Cosmic Check-In Podcast. We're currently on season 2, and we've went through the first 6 houses within astrology. Yeah, check it out if you're interested. And just to let you know about my bestseller, the Astrology Cheat Sheets, if you're interested in learning how to read your birth chart simply, those cheat sheets are available at hannahselsewhere.com. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can also do so through my website. Okay, let's do this. We're going to get into, hopefully it's going to be straight to the point, less jargon, hopefully, we'll see, horoscopes. So let's think about firstly here, Aries. So Aries, and yes, Aries risings more specifically, but if you want to look into it for your sun or moon, go right ahead. It's up to you, see how it resonates. Right. What we want to think about then is, well, we're coming at this from the angle of money that you earn from work and service. And it's interesting, Aries, because Venus is actually the ruler of this sector of your chart. And whenever we consider how the South Node has been in your 7th house since July of 2023, what you've been doing, Aries, is you've been weighing out your contracts, your agreements, your choices. I think you've been weighing out your options when it comes to collaborations and partnerships, who you want to work with, who you want to collaborate with. So a lot of, I would say, business matters, career related matters, work related matters have been looked at. And I think a part of it too is, okay, the work and the services I'm doing, how are things going there? Is there anything else that I want to maybe strive towards? A lot of reflection indeed, Aries, and perhaps you've let go of many ideals, many uh, could be partnerships. Maybe it's that you let go of a certain job or a partnership at some point from July 2023 up until today. But let's continue on, because you're essentially then coming into 2025 with this understanding about, okay, I've looked things over. Now, where do I go from here? And what we notice then is the ruler here of this, the money that you make from work and service, Venus will be retrograde from the 1st of March until the 12th of April. That period, Aries, for you, good. Just review partnerships, review your business deals. And more specifically, I think a big part of this is having discussions with your partner, with your business partner. Could even be a big part of this as well is about your personal spending. Think about even how Venus also rules your 2nd house, right? Venus rules your 2nd house of your personal finances, but it also rules your 7th house of partnership. So it's also a good way for you to go over your personal spending, budgets, managing things. Yes, look over those areas to maybe see what you would like to change, or potential things could be revisited. It could be older financial matters from the past that come back up, all with the intention of you learning something and addressing, maybe new potential ways of earning money. Because here's the thing, come July, right? July of 2025, Venus, again, reminder, the ruler of your 2nd, Venus will come, and also this money from work and service. Venus will come into the 2nd and will join up with Uranus. It's interesting for you, Aries, because yes, Uranus has been transiting your 2nd house for the past 7 years or so, 7 years or so. And it's like, oh my goodness, can I just get a break? Just sudden change after sudden change. but also many breakthroughs and realizations and epiphanies. Thinking about innovation, for instance, and how you really have stepped up, Aries. So that's really positive, I think. Still, come July, the conjunction between Venus and Uranus could suggest you learning a new skill. And then the other thing is that Uranus will come into your third house throughout July until October. And so, what we could see is actually recognition at work, recognition for your services. We could also see this recognition happen because of your ability to try something new, or because you have had the audacity to try something new over recent years. Plus, Jupiter will come into your third. Well, it's in your third currently, rather. It's in your third and it will be there until June. So, this within itself has been your opportunity to really expand your wisdom, your knowledge, to educate yourself further, Aries. And so, at the same time, a big part of it then is about July time, maybe being an opportunity for you to gain some sort of sudden recognition. It's like, wow, okay, I didn't realize that these coworkers or these colleagues of mine or my employer, I didn't realize that they saw my potential. I didn't realize that that my learning all of these years would pay off. So I think we're going to see some exciting blessings and gifts and new opportunities come about related to work and service in this regard, involving education, technology, computers, things like that. Then come August, Venus will conjunct Jupiter in your fourth. So, hey, this then suggests hopes and wishes, blessings. I think come August, you could be maybe within a completely different organization or institution. It could be that certain people within your community, within the team, recognize you. And so other doors open. Very, very exciting for you, Aries. So, in this way, we could see more money, we could see greater reward. Then, come October, Venus will then conjunct the South Node in your sixth. So, actually, what we do recognize here is an ending, something that you'll let go of when it comes to your work and service. Keep in mind that the South Node will be in your sixth house throughout the year. So, it is about endings and moving on and saying goodbye possibly to old routines, old habits, old co-workers, and embracing something new. And by December, Venus will come into your 10th, and this could be where we recognize you settling into some sort of role. You could feel very happy and content within a new career position or a working position, for instance. More so, though, I do think it's strongly related to work and service, because this is about work and service that we're really we're coming at. We're addressing it from this angle, basically. Though naturally, the thing about this, Aries, is sure, it may not necessarily be that you completely change jobs, right? It could just more so be different people you're around, could even be certain people joining your work or being a part of your work. And I just think there's greater reward overall when it comes to collaboration. So, Aries, good luck, and we could see significant financial changes in these ways for you throughout the year. Let's now explore Taurus, and I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit. So, Taurus, whenever we look to the money that you make throughout 2025, especially the money from your work and service, well, Mars and Pluto would be the rulers of these areas for you. Essentially, what I'm getting at here is that you have been weighing out your work options. I think, Taurus, since 2023, well, especially July of 2023, you've been strongly considering, okay, what about the role I do here? How am I respected? And how can I maybe focus on greater collaboration and harmony, greater fairness and justice when it comes to my work and service? So, a lot of reflection and weighing out your options. Taurus could even be about having a better work life balance, for instance. The other thing about this then is that Pluto is now in your 10th and will be there for the next 20 years. So a big part of 2025 then is ushering in these questions of, do I feel seen? Do I feel happy here? Is this what I want for my future? And with Mars, so Mars is retrograde coming into 2025, especially with it being in Cancer from the 6th of January until the 23rd of February. This then is a period, it's an opportunity for you to reassess, okay, recognition. Okay, am I being recognized? And could even be that there's some sort of promotion that's happened recently for you, or it could be that there's been a level up, so to speak. But hey, it's still about reviewing things, taking your time to explore, is this what I want? Do I feel aligned with this? Could also be that you're working towards a promotion or something else, a level up, another opportunity, for instance, there. But whatever the case, we are noticing these developments. And then, even by April, May time, we're really going to see things develop and change for you in a forward way. So, this could literally be a career change. It could be that it's a promotion. It could be that you feel pretty secure about a recent promotion. It could be that a probation period ends. And so you feel pretty secure. A lot of this is just about security. This is about your physical needs, providing for yourself. And hopefully, a big part of it too is feeling content. Of course, it is you, Taurus, after all, right? So, come July, Mars will conjunct the South Node. And so, by July, you will address an issue behind the scenes. I think it could be, of course, and I do think it is work related, it's service related, but maybe it's even tied in a bit with refining your skills within a supportive team. So, a lot of teamwork focus. But again, with the conjunction to the South Node, it could be that you let something go, right? There could be a habit, there could be maybe a worrisome matter that you address and that you kind of go, it's not worth it for me. Maybe it involves other employees, it strongly involves your employer. Okay, then what we notice is that around July time as well, Uranus will enter your second house actually. So think about how Jupiter has been in your second house since May of 2024. So what we've been noticing for you, Taurus, is great expansion and growth to do with learning, really educating yourself, refining your skills to do with education, maybe learning a new skill, uh, ho- uh, a new talent or gift in some way, shape, or form. And then Uranus coming into the second, well, we could see then upskilling, training, maybe taking these things that I've been talking about, whatever area it is that you've been learning about, taking them to the next level. And naturally, because of this, because you're going to be more qualified, you could earn more money. Then come October, Mars will conjunct Mercury. And so there could be changes to your money due to learning a new skill, due to advanced training. But I think that part of it, it's almost like there could be more of a green light. It could be that you qualify. So that's all well and good, right? There could be this feelings of satisfaction where you go to you think to yourself, yes, I really asserted myself there. I'm really glad that I stuck it out. But you see, by November time, Mercury will be retrograde in your 8th and 7th houses. So actually, that will invite some time to review agreements and contracts. So I kind of see this as you being on this trajectory throughout 2025, maybe to enter into a new role, a new job. And then we come to November, and maybe it's a way for you to go, okay, let me just double check what's being agreed to, what's being offered here. Am I getting the money that I feel, yes, I deserve? Am I getting paid? Am I getting paid well? Am I being recognized? And then these themes also strongly tie in with joint financial planning. So thinking about what you want to build, possibly with your significant other. But this could also be paying off a loan or paying off some debt, just clearing your debt, getting things in order. Then we come to the end of 2025, December time, And Mars will be in your ninth. And so, hey, we could see this as you feeling a lot more established, or being at this stage where you think, yes, I am a professional, or yes, I feel more qualified. I'm glad that I refined my skills throughout the year. A big part of this could just be about your own self recognition. And again, I think it comes back to that of your work and service. And even to think about it further, with Pluto being in the 10th, I mean, already what we notice for you, Taurus, is it's a long road. What I mean by this is, with Pluto in the 10th, it's about having the courage and the emotional resilience, the bravery to be able to see, okay, this is ending. There's an ending when it comes to status, there's an ending when it comes to my public image or my career path. And I'm willing to take the leap. I'm willing to enter into a new era. More perhaps to come, though, about these matters as Pluto continues through the 10th. But that's just something I wanted to explain about 2025. Hopefully you find the information to be helpful. And just to confirm, yes, if you've got a Taurus rising, this information is going to be so much more relatable for you, but feel free to read if you even have Sun or Moon in Taurus. Okay, so moving on to Gemini. Thank you, Taurus. Gemini. And the information I'm about to say here is going to be way more relatable if you've got a Gemini rising, but feel free to also read for the Sun or Moon, see how things resonate. So, Jupiter is the planet that's associated with the money that you earn from work and service. Gemini, and Jupiter has been in your first house since May of 2024. So we have seen for you something new that's been ushered in to do with work, to do with especially money earned from work. So this could be significant opportunities, significant growth, even thinking about how your very aims and your goals have changed. There's just been this room for expansion, and this is going to continue even up until June of 2025. We'll just talk more about that in a moment, but I wanted to draw from that a little bit. But you see, what we're also noticing is that there has been this square currently between Saturn and Jupiter. So, on one hand, yes, we see shared resource goals. So, we think about you and your significant other. We could also look at this as you may be paying off debt or paying back a loan, something like that. But basically, with the square, there are some blocks and limits coming into 2025. And maybe a part of this too, Gemini, is that you're not feeling the happiest. You're feeling a bit fed up, a bit like, when are things gonna turn for me? Even Mars retrograde coming into 2025, it's happening in your second house. So we're seeing challenges, we're seeing conflict, just feeling maybe a bit uncomfortable or a bit like restless. It's this restless energy, this energy of, I just want things to move. And I guess the thing about Mars retrograde is it is important to conserve your energy, to review where you are financially, use it to your benefit to review your financial goals. Because the thing is that come February, Jupiter will turn direct, and you'll notice around, I would say, March, April time. Of course, Mars will also turn direct throughout February, but things will start to ease, okay? Things will start to make more sense. And maybe you'll be really glad that you waited. Still, Jupiter then enters your second come June of 2025. So, after this period of review and maybe addressing challenges and addressing conflicts and disagreements, even maybe between you and your partner about shared resources and about your personal spending and things like that, hopefully what we could recognize is new money opportunities at work. We could see promotions, reaching larger audiences, just that larger reach, if it is that you're on social media, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it is you after all, Gemini. We could just see this as more resources. So that's really positive, I think. And by May, we could also look at this as greater recognition, actually feeling seen, feeling recognized for your hard work. So, yeah, sure, there are those blockages at the beginning of the year and even towards the end of 2024. But remember, Saturn in your 10th house has been teaching you so much about just focusing, about being persevering, to really persevere, to trust the process. Okay. So that's great. And do keep in mind that Saturn has been in your 10th since March of 2023. So, really valuable lessons to do with maturity and responsibility and showing up from this place of greater spiritual insight within your career. Then, August, Venus will conjunct Jupiter in your second house. How beautiful is this? New luck and abundance cycle coming in hot, Gemini. Money, belongings, resources. Oh, also, this could be related to your reputation and your very public identity. Keep in mind that, yes, Jupiter does rule your 10th. So, yes, this is beautiful, I think, for you. This could really be a year where finances are great. You're quite prosperous, I think, this year, Gemini, when it comes to your money. Now, there's another thing, though, to mention about this, because Uranus, whilst Uranus has been in your first house, or sorry, your 12th house, Uranus coming into 2025, and it's been there since about 2018. So for the past 7 or so years. But what we've noticed is that coworker changes have happened, collaboration changes have happened, and that's actually quite positive in many ways. You've been able to kind of dabble and be open-minded and maybe meet new people. But you see, come July until October of 2025, Uranus comes into your first. And so actually we could see unexpected shared resource events happen. This could be things being a bit muddled, a bit confusing, or a bit like, oh, for goodness sake, I'm so frustrated by this because whilst I may be a bit more level and things are happening for me, when it comes to the shared planning, the financial planning, things are a bit up in the air. But what I will also like to mention furthermore is it could be a breakthrough, it could be something exciting, right? Expect the unexpected when it comes to Uranus Gemini. Still, what a really exciting time for you financially, especially when we think about the money that you earn from your work and services. Okay, let's now move on to Cancer. So, Cancer, read this definitely for Cancer risings. You're going to resonate the most. Feel free to read if the sun or moon are in Cancer in your chart. But basically, here, Cancer, Saturn is the planet that rules the money that you earn from work and service. And what this can actually suggest is that whatever service you start or whatever work you do, it can take some time to really see things grow and change and develop where there are greater rewards. It's just that whole thing with Saturn of patience is key. Even Saturn has been in your ninth since March of 2023. And so we could look at this as you maybe doing more training, or we could look at this as you taking some time to really become a professional within a certain field. Of course, such matters could be tied to higher education, but a big part of it, just in general, is about expanding your horizons, learning more, being open to um, being in it for the long haul. It's like, okay, show that dedication. Be persevering when it comes to your higher education or when it comes to your teachings or something you want to publish or something you want to promote, for instance. But you see, coming into 2025, restrictions are happening because there's the square between Saturn and Jupiter. So Jupiter's in your 12th. So we could see this as some restrictions, perhaps at home, or restrictions about the next step forward when it comes to maybe where you want to live. Could be relocating. It could be that even though you are living somewhere and you feel somewhat comfortable and supported there, there's still these feelings. There are still these feelings of uncertainty and maybe some fears. These fears, of course, could be just in your head. That's the thing about the 12th house. We can kind of make things up and fear the unknown. And it's sort of like, but you don't actually know what's going to happen. So we're seeing these themes. It's just like, oh gosh, where do I go from here? But you see, what we also notice is that Pluto is in your 8th house. So we could see this as you having discussions with your significant other about these fears. We could also see this as what's really going to be ushered in for you over the next number of years are these real chances, these real opportunities to transform and to grow when it comes to joint financial planning, when it comes to joint finances, shared resources. Managing other people's money could be a big part of this. This could be about greater feelings of empowerment when it comes to these areas. But with Pluto, remember, I mean, Pluto can also, it can be a planet that destroys, a planet that forces us to change things that, uh, things that whenever we look within ourselves, it's like, oh, that's my shadow. That's what's coming through. My unconscious is trying to tell me or warn me about a certain scenario. So there could be significant endings and releases, shifting gears, really, when it comes to joint financial planning. But hey, you know what? Pluto within itself is about, you could look at this as large sums of money or real big investments and things like that. So actually, we could see something unfold for you where, yes, it could be that you're going to come into a great deal of money over the next coming years, Cancer. Okay, moving on then to, oh, and just to be sensitive, loss and death, inheritance, things like that could come up. And it's, of course, that's not nice, but still, we could see possibly some inheritance money come through because of a loss or a death. Okay, Venus and Mercury at the start of the year, right? So when we think about Venus and Mercury, where they are at the start of the year, we really want to think then about what is your calling. I think a big part of 2025 is questioning belonging. And come May, so May until September, Saturn will come into Aries. And so this could invite different commitments. Do you feel content? What do you want? It's really a big turning point year, I think, for you, Cancer, when it comes to what you want from work and service, what you want from your career path as well. When we think about your life's work, your more long-term successes with the 10th house activated. We could even, of course, look at this as a new career path opening up. And because of that, the very work that you do within that career, that changes. It could be just about upskilling this year, learning a new skill, getting into a new field, things like that. Could even be just a different area within the same career, or within the same industry, right? A different area within the same industry. September, then, that will be a good opportunity for you to actually think things over, revisit the foundation. Could also be a turn of events, older courses or habits could come up. Could be an opportunity as well for you to question your shared resources, to have more of this sensible way of questions linked to shared resources. Is this for us? Is this what we want to do together? Big year for joint financial opportunities overall, because by August, Jupiter will come into your first and then Venus as well. So there will be that conjunction between Jupiter and Venus. My goodness. Yes, I think, especially if it is that you are really interested in settling down, getting a house, getting married, having kids, this could be a year where those things are very much on your mind. And if you're in this position, it could be that there are significant changes that happen, or it's that there are significant conversations that you have with your spouse. But hey, it could be that you're single, so this could be more so about you paying off your own debt and just thinking about your own future. So a lot of luck here, luck and opportunity surrounding you in many ways. Of course, because by June of 2025, Jupiter will come into your sign, Cancer. And a couple more things I want to say for you, Cancer, is with Uranus in your 11th house for the past 7 years or so, loads of questions have been coming up about your health, especially health when it comes to work and service. So from July until October, Uranus coming into the 12th could be epiphanies, realizations. And so this could also be a part of why you change career paths, why you change areas, departments within your field. And it could be, again, it's linked back to your health. Thank you, Cancer. And now on to Leo. So for you, Leo, I want to firstly mention that yes, this information is going to resonate the most if you've got a Leo rising, but also feel free to listen if you've got the sun or moon in Leo because things could resonate. Right. Saturn and Uranus are the planets that rule the money that you make from your work and services. And Saturn has been in your 8th since March of 2023. And then also Pluto has entered into your 7th. So it's interesting when we think about Pluto being in the 7th, first and foremost, because this could indicate you really stepping it up, you stepping into your power when it comes to the money that you make from your work and services. There could be great opportunities and more money, large sums of money to work with. But it's also about potential power struggles or power plays or addressing things within yourself, maybe related to self-sabotage or potential fears, overcoming certain fears that could block you or hinder your progress a little bit. It could also be about significant endings that happen related to the money that you make from work and services, maybe because you go down a different path, you decide to do something different, essentially, okay? Something new could be ushered in related to partnership and contracts and agreements, Leo. But you see, I want to focus a little bit more on the fact that Saturn has been in your 8th since March of 2023, because this within itself has suggested these restrictions, restrictions tied to social media, tied to your reach, limits and blockages tied to communication. But what has also happened in many ways for you is a lot of patience, perseverance, discipline has also happened. Think even about how Saturn is making that square to Jupiter in the 11th. You are currently experiencing the ability to refine your communication skills, the ability to refine your networking skills. This is so much about teamwork, community, like minds. My goodness, it's this whole thing of strength being found in numbers, and you're only gonna, I would say, grow in your power with Pluto in the 7th throughout 2025. So that's really, really exciting for you, I think, Leo. Could be major money moves because of collaborations, because of teamwork. Moreover, Venus and Mercury at the start of the year, right? So with the positions they're in, we're noticing then a lot of learning, deepening your understanding, educating yourself further. Even think about how Venus and Mercury will retrograde from March until April. So that's going to be amazing for you because you can learn so much more about yourself, about what you want to earn, and how you can especially earn from your education, thinking about, a particular new path that you want to go down or how you want to enhance in some way, how you want to level up in some way. And because you take that time to review things, to reassess where you're at, to improve, my goodness, you could very well be rewarded for your efforts. Plus, Saturn will enter Aries May until September. So, this window could signify greater commitments at home, greater commitments about family, with family. Perhaps you even wish to build something new with them. And a big part of that then is linked again back to that of your money, right? Money and your work and your services. Maybe it's that you want to be able to provide for family. So, a big driving factor when it comes to money is to be able to support family, or it's that you want to make significant changes to your home. It could be moving house, it could be renovating your home, it could be just setting up greater security for the long haul. So, yeah, big themes I think to do with family and home. There is a more of a desire to want to acquire enough money so that you can support those goals of yours. September time. So by September, consider what is true. Explore your joint financial position. Really just go over these key areas and explore, okay, what has came up recently when it comes to joint financial planning, and especially with Saturn being in your 8th house since March of 2023. You've really been called to be mature, to be responsible. It's just another opportunity for you to review things again. But then also with Neptune being a part of it, it is about having to see or face the reality or the harsh truths in some way, shape, or form. Then again, with Neptune, I mean, Neptune can even indicate that for a good period of time, things have been a little bit uncertain or confusing about joint resources, about joint financial planning. So hopefully, what we could really see is that things will become a lot more clear. The fog will sort of lift more so coming into 2025, and even more so from 2026 onwards. August time, then what we have is Jupiter conjunct Venus. So this will happen in your 12th house, but actually, what we're going to notice then from this, I think, with the conjunction and August time, lock expansion in partnerships. My goodness, there could be new opportunities to do with partnerships and relationships, which could be really beneficial for your money situation. And coming into July, so July until August, or sorry, July until October, Uranus will come into your 11th. And so we're also going to see greater innovation and practicing new skills, possibly. Think about all of that innovation related to community and teamwork and all the networking stuff. Yes, it could be very exciting in this regard, Leo, and you're going to get a taster of what could come then from 2026 onwards. Because, of course, Uranus will dip into that 11th house from July till October. But you see, with Uranus still in the 10th for a period of time, even especially coming towards the end of the year when Uranus goes back into your 10th, you could take it as an opportunity to reflect upon your successes. You can maybe take it as an opportunity to see how far you've really come all of these years, right? With the past 7 years, with Uranus really revolutionizing your career and your successes. Yeah, take some time to appreciate just wow, how much you've succeeded and how much you have really stepped up and put your best foot forward. Thinking about this in terms of your earning potential, thinking about this in terms of providing for yourself your physical security. A lot of this then could be about comfort and wanting to experience greater ease in your life. Thank you, Leo. And now on to Virgo. Okay, so Virgo. Virgo, let's talk about you. Which, by the way, if you have a Virgo rising, then yes, you are going to perhaps relate to this the most. But also feel free to watch if the sun or moon are in Virgo in your chart. First up, let's explore how the South Node has been in your second house since July of 2023. And so you've been balancing your accounts strongly. So you have been trying to weigh out your options when it comes to your personal belongings, your personal spending habits. Just managing your finances has been a big priority. But what has also been a big priority for you is that of shared resources. So, sharing with another, how you combine resources and finances with another. And the thing about this is that, yes, significant new chapters have been ushered in over the past couple of years within these areas. So, thinking about your finances, but there's also going to be an eclipse on the 8th of March. Or, sorry, there's going to be an eclipse in your 8th March time. It's not happening on the 8th of March, but it's happening at the end of March. It's in your 8th house, though. So, this is going to be a whole new monumental chapter or beginning to do with this, I suppose, a continuation related to shared accounts. And maybe as well, a big part of this is how you educate yourself, how you learn so that you can enhance or increase the money that you make from your work and services. But here's the thing, here's a challenging point for you, Virgo. Well, what do we see? We see that Saturn has been in your 7th house since March of 2023. So Saturn has, in a way, been showing restriction, blockages to do with the very money you make from your work and services. We've seen the limits and the blockages, especially between Jupiter and Saturn. So, yes, Jupiter has been in your 10th since May of 2024. So, we've seen this opportunity for you to grow and for you to expand your horizons, so to speak, when it comes to your career. It could be exploring new horizons, new territories, just this growth, this luck, this expansive energy, right? But with the square to Saturn, we have noticed limitations, we've noticed restrictions, not getting the sort of money that you want to make, for instance. But I hope you can see that this within itself is preparing you for something greater. It's almost like you have an opportunity to more so focus on, well, what can I do? What can I control? Instead of worrying about the things I can't control, this is what I can control within my business, or when it comes to my work, when it comes to my services, things like that. And then also, Pluto has entered your sixth. And so we're going to see significant new changes to do with your work and services. We could hopefully look at this as certain skills that you refine. And it's about, okay, greater empowerment and greater resilience on your part. But then we could also look at this as significant chapters endings, things coming to a close, having to move on, having to walk away from a situation that just isn't working for you anymore. So we could see just these kinds of things really unfold over the next coming years for you. But to also mention what's going to happen. So by April time, so by April, May time until October, what will happen is that Saturn will leave the seventh and Neptune will also leave the seventh. And that'll be just for that period of time. Of course, they will go back into your seventh towards the end of the year. So there could be older patterns and themes that come up to do with anything that you're unsure about related to money from work and service. But you see, so this period from April until October, Neptune and Saturn will come into the eighth. And so there will be a lot of communication and learning tied to shared resources. Could be new joint financial planning goals, for instance, that will be ushered in. And like I was saying a moment ago, yes, Jupiter has been in your 10th and will continue to be there until June. So we could look at this as greater creativity at work, or creativity related to work, greater inspiration being sought after at work. Maybe a big part of this is fulfillment, wanting to feel more fulfilled when it comes to your working life. Uranus then will come into your 10th from July until October. So we're really going to see this taster of new beginnings, new starts to do with really changing the game within your your professional lives, essentially. And think of it even as Uranus does rule your sixth. So yes, shakeups, breakthroughs, interesting changes upon the horizon when it comes to your work and services. Some could be really exciting, some could be turbulent, honestly. But yes, I just think big themes, big changes up ahead related to these areas. And come June of 2025, Jupiter will enter your 11th. So actually, keep in mind, Jupiter is one of the rulers of the money that you earn from work and service. So this could be really positive work growth, working within teams, working amongst groups, positive coworker relationships, really connecting with others, finding people who you align with when it comes to work. So that's all really positive, I think. And we could also look at it as by the end of the year with Saturn and Neptune in your seventh, you could just take it as an opportunity to go over your contracts and agreements. So if it is that any new interesting collaborations or community things come up throughout 2025, just use that as an opportunity to go back in and to look over all of the documents, the documentation, to make sure that you're just on the same page, especially if it is that it's a one-to-one partnership, which could be, right? Because think about it, even the North Node will be in your seventh as all of this is unfolding. And so this could be maybe some sort of a fated person that you meet, and it could be a work partnership. It could be a business deal, a business partnership. And so, if this is the case, just use perhaps Saturn and Neptune in the seventh towards the end of the year to just manage things, to get things in order, to get things aligned, to ask yourself, right, is this for me? And then, of course, even by 2026, Saturn and Neptune will go back into your eighth. And so, new beginnings, certainly, when it comes to shared accounts, shared resources, could be really exciting in many ways, but also keep in mind that with Neptune involved, there could be some levels of disillusionment, disappointment, getting your hopes up. But hopefully, with Saturn as a part of it, especially at the beginning, there could be healthy forms of realism and being a bit more practical as well, to kind of sort of look at it as, I want to follow my dreams and I want to dream a bit or fantasize a bit, visualize a bit about shared accounts. But Saturn can act maybe as this healthy skepticism, but also we could perhaps look at it as needing to be cautious when it comes to swindlers or con artists, just as an example, Virgo. Thank you, Virgo. And now on to Libra. Okay, so Libra. Firstly, here, if Libra is on the rising in your chart, you're going to resonate with this information the most, but also feel free to watch even if the sun or moon are in Libra in your chart, okay? Great. Libra, the planet that rules the money that you make from work and service is Mars. And coming into 2025, what we notice is that Mars is retrograde in Cancer. So in your 10th house of career, status, reputation. And this retrograde is from the 6th of January until the 23rd of February. Of course, Mars is still retrograde in Leo before that, but just those are the dates for the retrograde in Cancer. So, what is this about? This is about your creative goals, especially at work. This is about aliveness and enjoyment that you feel at work. And this is about your passions, your strong forms of enjoyment and fulfillment. What lights you up? But also a big part of this, because Cancer is involved, it's about emotional security. It's about safety and protection. Furthermore, what we see for you is Uranus has been transiting your 8th house of shared accounts, shared resources, debts, collections, borrowing since about 2018. So, for the past 7 years or so, many shakeups have happened with relation to these areas. But also, we can look at this as potential breakthroughs and you reinventing yourself, you rebelling in some way, shape, or form when it comes to debt or taxes, maybe finding a new way, a newfound vision, a new sense of inspiration in some respects when it comes to joint financial planning. Still, all very much up in the air. And then Uranus, Uranus will enter your 9th house, and that will be around July time. So Uranus coming into Gemini from July until about October will be a taster of what's to come. So we think about here how this can indicate some interesting revelations or surprises or shocks, some inspirational moments and new chapters tied to the likes of travel, higher education, advanced training, certain courses, programs. Maybe a part of this is about setting up a course or a program from within your own home, for instance, right? Or a part of this is about you maybe setting up a course with a family member. Or this could be even about you really questioning your sense of belonging when it comes to family, sudden changes when it comes to family, the unexpected when it comes to family. and how those unexpected changes and shifts can play a role when it comes to the money that you earn from work and service. So, in this regard, maybe we can look at this as, because you're able to take on a new program or you're ready to learn a new skill, because of that, then you can support family better. Okay, let's now move on to March until April. So, March into April, we see Venus retrograde in your 7th and 6th houses. Keep in mind that the chart ruler for you, okay, your chart ruler, well, sorry, just your ruler in general, especially if you're watching for the sun or moon here, but your ruler is Venus. And with the retrogrades happening in your 6th and 7th houses, well, we're going to see major themes here, major changes tied to that of your work and services and the money that you make from your work and services. I think there could be some creative project you start, or this could be about reevaluating uh, maybe your inspiration or your fire, your passions. This could also be about revisiting an older dream or an older vision, maybe something that you really wanted to try, or something, maybe it could be, of course, a certain source of income, but a source of income that you wanted to try and it comes back around. It's an opportunity for you to embrace that in some way. Then what we see is May, so May time, Mars will be direct actually in Leo in your 11th. So come May, I think you're going to be on your A game when it comes to work and performance, when it comes to your reach, when it comes to audiences that you seek to be a part of, and maybe having a larger audience or feeling this sense of purpose or achievement and accomplishment when it comes to audiences. Could be related to social media, for instance. Moving on then to Jupiter. So Jupiter will be in your 9th until June. So we're actually seeing these home priorities and these family life blessings being ushered in during this time. Again, we relate this back to that of the money that you make from your work and service. Naturally, I do get it as well as we go through these horoscopes. There are probably those of you who have retired, you're not working anymore, but we're really just focusing on the money that we earn from our work and services throughout these readings. Then coming into July, and Mars will conjunct the South Node in your 12th. So, what we could see around July is actually an ending or a closing, a letting go when it comes to a shared resource. It could be an account that closes, it could be a shared resource, shared financial matter that comes to an end. Then by August, we see that Jupiter will conjunct Venus in your 10th. My goodness, Libra, great fortune, great luck, and opportunity when it comes to your career. So much growth upon the horizon. October then. So coming into October, Mars will conjunct Mercury. So this could be about upskilling, training, learning, especially for purposes of maybe making more money, for instance, or managing your money well. It's also for personal resource reasons here with training and learning. Maybe a part of it is about looking after your own money or seeing how you spend your money. There could be just some changes, possible challenges at the same time. Then by December, Mars will be in your 4th, and we could look at this as great group recognition coming your way. Really recognition within the team, and there is this ambitious feeling. Could also be, of course, because Mars is a part of it. There could be some competitive behaviors, things like that. But when we look at this, maybe through a more positive lens, hopefully this is about accomplishment. Thank you so much, Libra. And now on to Scorpio. So Scorpio, I just want to mention firstly that this is directed more so to Scorpio risings out there. And I do also want to mention that, sure, maybe many of you are not working. You could be retired, for instance, but we're focusing on money from work and service. Plus, hey, this could even be retirement funds, really, when you think about it. But anyway, well, let's think about as well how this is perhaps going to relate in some way, shape, or form to those of you with a Scorpio sun or moon. I just want to mention that. But Venus, so Venus is basically the planet that rules the money that you earn from work and service. So Venus is retrograde from March until April and will happen in your 6th and 5th houses. So that will actually be a good opportunity, Scorpio, for you to review your health at work. I think a big part of the retrogrades as well, the retrograde, Mercury will also be a part of it, to be fair, but I think a part of it will be you having a closer look at your well-being, your vitality, how respected you feel at work, how seen you feel at work, how appreciated you feel. Could also be a great time just to be alone with your thoughts, or to really contemplate, to go within. A lot of spiritual searching could happen. Again, I think such matters are tied to work, your work life, and how you earn money from your work. Naturally, what could also come up here, Scorpio, are fears. Maybe parts of it is recognizing certain enemies, could be hidden enemies, for example. Could even be you getting in your own way to some way, to some extent. And then what we see by July is Venus will conjunct Uranus in your 7th. So this could actually be a pretty innovative time. Innovative when it comes to money from work because of sudden changes. Sudden revelations could happen, a new cycle will begin. So that could be quite accelerating and exciting when, especially when you think about collaborations, partnerships, people you want to work with, and how, or even contracts or agreements that you sign, and how such things could set you up for the future. Uranus by July will come into your 8th house. So July to October. And what we could actually see then for you is greater developments and greater skills to do with learning, educating yourself, just wanting to learn more about a particular subject, a particular area, and that could help you with earning more money. Jupiter has been transiting your 8th since May of 2024, so we've already been seeing such expansive growth here. So I think opportunities have already come up, but Uranus coming along could just be what feels like these epiphanies, these revelations, just revolutionizing the ways in which you really show up when it comes to this learning you've been doing. Taking things to the next level, Scorpio. Could even be related to matters, we think about the occult, the occult, divination, the esoteric, paranormal, things like that. Come June, Jupiter will then go into your 9th. And that by that time, Jupiter will be there for a good year, but we could see this as you possibly wanting to relocate on one hand, but it could also be you experiencing home and comfort growth. It could also be about travel, possibly traveling for work purposes, training in a different country, being open to learning a new language or a new program or a new system. Just so much growth here for learning more, Scorpio, with Jupiter coming into your 9th. I even further just want to mention, do keep in mind that Saturn and Neptune will dip their toe into your sixth house. Yes, your house of work and service come March, April until September, about that time. So you're going to get a taster of what could potentially change for you, how you can set new foundations in place when it comes to work and service. Could also be, of course, some interesting restrictions, delays, but it could also be about establishing yourself, maybe taking on more authority, greater responsibility at work. And mixed in with Neptune, yes, there could be some, maybe this is about being mindful, because there could be some health concerns that could arise. We think about medications tied to the 6th, for instance, well, Neptune especially, Neptune in the sixth, uh, could also be here, maybe misjudging things a little bit when it comes to work and service, but hopefully with the support of Saturn, there's that healthy caution and there's that healthy, realistic view. Then again, it could be at times you being somewhat dreamy about things or idealistic, overly idealistic, wishful thinking, stuff like that. But then there can also be times when it's like you're too narrow. But whatever the case may be, we're going to see interesting new chapters and developments happen for you when it comes to work and service. In Aries, a lot of this is about leadership. Okay, so moving on to August. Jupiter will conjunct Venus in the ninth. Yeah. Training, luck, growth, fortune, tied to training. I really see you stepping it up and wanting to expand and wanting to grow. This could be, of course, even spiritually, emotionally. Maybe this is even, like I was saying earlier, about literally traveling. Could be traveling for family purposes. Could be you relocating, certain family changes, moving the family to a completely different destination or a different country, for instance. Yeah, citizenship could be a big part of this, possibly. Or it could be more so about how exploration is done within the home, right? Maybe learning about the past or learning about your family heritage and your upbringing. And those themes could basically come up. It could even be certain family members moving in with you. Hey, for that's another possibility here with family changes. Then October, coming into October, Venus will conjunct the South Node in your 11th. Yeah, taking care of yourself within groups is going to be of big importance, possibly ending a friendship, ending a group dynamic. Something about teamwork will come to a close. And I think perhaps this is linked to a contract or a deal that ends essentially. And that can open you up for greater expansion and greater growth, of course. So there is that. And possibly then this is about wanting to earn some more money. Hey, it could even be that you're willing to make certain cuts with Saturn coming into your sixth throughout the year for a certain period of time. You sort of think to yourself, do you know what? I'm willing to make a cut. I'm willing to take a bit of a hit to my finances if it means that I am going to feel better or it means that I'm going to feel more fulfilled within my life. Thank you so much, Scorpio. And now we're going to move on to Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, well, what we see here, well, firstly, I want to say actually that this is more so about money from work and service. I get that maybe some of you are retired, you're not working. Also, if you've got a Sagittarius rising, you're going to find this to be the most appropriate. But even if the sun or moon are in Sagittarius, go with it, see if it resonates. So Mercury is the ruler of your money. So the money that you make from work and service, Mercury rules that. Mercury will be retrograde from March until April, happening in your fifth and fourth houses. So what this could indicate during that time is good opportunity for you to look things over. Look over documents, look over important plans, data. Make sure that you have everything in order. Behind the scenes, just look over, right? Okay, how much money am I making? Am I on track? Is this what I want? Do I feel aligned here? What do you want from work? What do you want from work? Also, it's about reflecting on group aims. Future goals, future aims. This is so much about being future focused in many ways. And you can be like this, Sagittarius, you can use great foresight. But yeah, I think this is your opportunity to really go over all of this financial stuff, the money stuff that you make from your work and services, and how maybe you want to go the extra mile, how you wish your services to maybe reach more people, for example, how you want to be recognized for your service or for your work. Then there will also be a Mercury retrograde, and we're not going to go through Mercury and all signs, but I'm just going to touch on the retrogrades. Mercury retrograde will also happen from July until August. So coming into the summer, happening in your ninth. So this will be your opportunity to reprioritize your home life, thinking about feelings of belonging, thinking about how you express yourself. How do you stand out as an individual when it comes to training, higher education, publishing, promoting yourself, and your teachings? We think about your teachings here with the ninth. But, there's also some form of feeling safe and secure with, belonging tied to money from work and service. So it could be a good opportunity for you to reevaluate those areas. Then Mercury retrograde will also happen in November, occurring in your first and 12th houses. So, this part of the retrograde is so much about partnership reflection. This is about you and your significant other, you and your business partner coming together, putting two minds together and thinking about, okay, how are we joining our resources? How are we joining our finances? Are there any changes we want to make? Is there anything that we're not seeing? How can we come together and hopefully create win-win outcomes so that we can succeed as a unit, as a team? Maybe this is about interesting developments to do with collaboration, people you want to collaborate with within work. And maybe that because of the partnerships, because of collaboration, certain deals, contracts, agreements, you could see even more money, or you could see a greater exchange, a greater sharing of money. Plus, Uranus has been in your sixth house of work and service since 2018. So we've noticed here, so many work and service changes. And we've noticed how your routines and your daily habits have surprised you, shake-ups, breakthroughs. Yeah, all of the sudden changes to do with Uranus, but also an opportunity for you to reinvent yourself, to experiment, to see what works, what doesn't work. And Uranus then will come into your seventh house by July. So July until October. So just for a short window there, but you're going to get a taster of money innovation, new ideas when it comes to money. And maybe that links back a little bit to the collaboration stuff. What I'm getting from this a little bit, Sagittarius, is maybe throughout 2025, what's on your mind in some way is, ooh, who do I want to work with? Who do I want to work for? What kind of company or group or unit do I want to be a part of? And I want it to be exciting. I want it to involve something new and interesting. And if it is that it's within the same field, the same industry, right, we could still look at this as new money opportunities. We can look at this as you wanting to progress or get more educated or get more training so that you can come into a higher wage pay bracket, for example. So then Jupiter will enter the seventh, or sorry, Jupiter has already been in your seventh since 2014. So around May time, what's already been ushered in for you, Sagittarius, is this, okay, let's grow, let's expand. I think you've really stepped outside of your comfort zone when it comes to teamwork, collaborations. You're being blessed when it comes to partnership here. Amazing. So what we're going to see is those blessings really being innovated in some way, catapulted in some way. There could be interesting breakthroughs and revelations that come up, and you're ready to start a new chapter or continue on with an interesting partnership development that's really occurred over the past year or so. Then by June, of course, Jupiter, which Jupiter is your ruler, but Jupiter will enter your eighth. So what we see, learning growth, desires to make more money. Indeed. This is what I want to focus on just because of Mercury and then also because of Jupiter. But I just think overall, okay, overall for you, Sagittarius, there are desires to make more money, to really grow when it comes to your physical security, even your joint. I would say joint resources are a big theme here. You may be collaborating with your significant other, thinking about how you can pay off debt so you can be more debt free. I suppose not completely. I think most people have some debt, but a part of it could be about seeking greater freedom when it comes to debt and just paying things off. So this is where we could see greater expansion and growth on your part throughout 2025, Sagittarius. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Now on to Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. First thing I want to mention is if Capricorn is on the rising, perhaps you're going to relate a lot more to what I'm about to share, but also feel free to watch for the sun or moon. If the sun or moon are in Capricorn, you may relate. Plus, this is more of a horoscope, more of a forecast for people who are still working, and it's about the money that you make from work and service, essentially. That's what we're going with. Okay. The moon then rules the money that you make from work and service. So, what we're going to do is we're going to break down a few eclipses and how things may unfold for you when it comes to money based on eclipses. But first, before we do that, Mercury retrograde. So, Mercury retrograde will happen from March until April in your fifth and fourth houses. So, with Mercury retrograde happening during that time, that's actually a really good opportunity, Capricorn, for you to go over, okay, behind the scenes. I want to step behind the scenes and I want to contemplate, okay, how does my work and service appear? What do I get from the work and services I offer? Is this something that I feel truly aligned with? And is it maybe that you're seeking greater comfort or security in some way? Is it that a big driving force when it comes to your work and services is about money, or it's about security, or it's about stability? It's about providing for your loved ones. But whatever the case, this is your opportunity to reevaluate your why, your purpose, your reasons, to be intentional. But then also with the fifth house, this could be about you looking over all of the family stuff and how such family matters are tied in with future hopes and visions. So, the kind of future you want to create, the kind of future you want to build for your family, for your loved ones, could be a big theme during that Mercury retrograde. So, we want to reflect on this and think about how, from you revisiting these areas, it's about the money you want to make from your work and service and how maybe you want to make some changes, possibly. Okay. And it's interesting, of course, because Gemini is on your sixth. So we do see you switching things up quite regularly. You being open to learning new things and wanting to upskill often. All right, let's then explore the 14th of March, the eclipse in Virgo. So there will be the lunar eclipse in Virgo, which will happen. That eclipse could invite this cleaning up influence. Cleaning up home matters, a significant release could happen, an ending. It could be about relocating, it could be about travel, it could be a belief that you hold on to. So, whatever it is, it's about get rid of it. It's like, this doesn't belong here. This isn't good for me. This thing as well may be in some ways getting in the way of my progress when it comes to the money I want to make from work and service, for instance. So there's some cleaning up influence there. And again, it could be related to home, to family. Then on the 29th of March, there will be the eclipse, the solar eclipse in Aries in your fourth. So a lot of what that is going to usher in for you is this new chapter, this significant new chapter to do with, sure, okay, it could be about home and family, but these matters are linked to your future aims, remember. This is about you being a go-getter, you being independent, where it is that you see yourself later on down the road. And these themes have already been ushered in over the past couple of years because eclipses have happened in your fourth and 10th houses. But yeah, a lot of stuff to do with home, family, your living situation, and setting yourself up for the future, even setting your family up for the future, the kind of future you want to provide or offer your children, your young, okay, your loved ones. Now, what I will also like to mention is your ruler Saturn will challenge this slightly, I think, because Saturn is going to come into the fourth around May of 2025 for just a short period of time. You're going to get a taster here of Saturn in your fourth, but what this could indicate is, sure, on one hand, easing up on any of the restrictive blockages, limitations to do with communication, for instance, which to be fair has been insightful in many respects too, for your imagination and for drawing from more of those creative abilities. But also, the thing about this is Saturn coming into the fourth can indicate some new set of restrictions or limitations tied to your living situation. Maybe a part of it is about stepping up to the challenge, or a part of it is about being patient, a part of it is about being quite mature and growing in your maturity by taking responsibility, or by practicing greater self control, by being somewhat more accountable within family matters, to maybe even think about things from a place of, okay, we've got to stick at this for a long time. We can do this. And then Neptune, you see, Neptune, of course, will be there first. Yes, Neptune comes into your fourth from, well, around about April, basically, for a few months. And Neptune can be quite a tricky planet, delusions, confusions, being overly idealistic, wishful thinking. But hopefully, we could look at this as some healthy forms of realism and practicality with Saturn coming along. Sort of like being able to discipline yourself a little bit more, or hopefully being able to see through any fog or anything that is a bit dreamy or uncertain, and apply this to that of your home life and your family life. So, for instance, this could be about you not seeing things very clearly when it comes to your living situation, when it comes to home matters. Or even with Saturn, this could be partly about certain restrictions or limitations, or feeling like you need to wait things out. Patience, though, of course, Capricorn, and you know all too well about patience. And maybe this patience is even especially about new goals, new home goals, new family goals, again, tied to your future aims. So, again, we want to sort of reflect on this a little bit and think about how such matters are tied to the money from your work and service. And by the 23rd of August, the new moon will happen in Virgo in the ninth. So, new intentions can be set, a new chapter can begin. With respect to, it could be higher education, it could be long distance travel. Again, this could be about family stuff, home stuff, related to that of wanting to make more money or providing for your family. And by the 7th of September, another eclipse happens, and that eclipse happens in your third this time around. And that one will be a lunar eclipse in the third, where in actuality you could reap some rewards. Think about how Saturn has been traveling through your third house. So we could see some success and recognition for communication, for being more than qualified, pretty professional when it comes to a certain subject that you've been dedicating yourself to for a long time. Then we move on to the 21st of September, and another eclipse will happen in your ninth. So there could be a real powerful shift. We could see notable new chapters, which could, of course, have positive impacts on that of your money, the money you make from work. And to further add to this, think about how Pluto is in your second, will be there for a long time. So a lot of this transit is about upskilling, leveling up. I just think if it is that you're a Capricorn and you are working and you're thinking about maybe how can I get more from this, or how can I be recognized? How can I be a bit more successful here? How can I earn more money, basically? I think Pluto will, sure, it can serve as a symbol that's quite challenging and having to face your fears, things falling away, things coming to an end, but it's also about the rebirth. It's also about leveling up. Just keep in mind, though, that there will be the Pluto retrograde from May until October. So that could be an opportunity for you to reassess maybe your shadow. It could be a really spiritual time, actually, when it comes to the relationship that you have with the material world. Hey, maybe a part of this is attachments. There could be some harsh lessons about attachments. Learning to let go, for instance, of certain attachments, material attachments, financial attachments. And maybe a big part of this is even about your self worth. Okay. Maybe that's something to consider here, Capricorn, is that life isn't all about money, right? And acquiring materials and success. And maybe, to be fair, many of you Capricorns already know this. You already know this. So perhaps not speaking to you in this regard, but still, if it is that there's any fears that come up, there could be some interesting shifts that happen within you, subconscious shifts, where you recognize how you might be getting in your own way from establishing the kind of success that you want, for example. Thank you, Capricorn. And now on to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, let's think about you. First thing I want to say is if Aquarius is on the rising in your chart, you are going to resonate with this much more. But I also recommend watching for the sun or moon, just if you're curious to see what works, if it resonates. Anyway, the sun rules the money that you make from work and service. So we want to think about where the sun is throughout the year and what interesting developments could happen season by season. So the sun travels through all 12 signs, and I'm not going to go through every single sign, but at the start of the year, so coming into 2025, it is Capricorn season, and so the sun is in your 12th. So actually coming into the new year, Aquarius, what's really helpful for you to do is to address shared resources. But at the same time, we also notice that Saturn is currently in your second house. So we're seeing restrictions and blockages and limitations tied to your personal resources and how you manage them. Budgeting, spending, saving may be very challenging to do for you right now. Still, take this opportunity coming into the new year to maybe consider, okay, it could be that you're paying off debt, you're having to really manage your shared accounts, your shared resources in a very disciplined way, just having to really be responsible. And maybe a part of it is a bit bland, it's a bit dry, maybe it has been quite difficult, because the minute that you sort of see a glimpse of hope, or the minute that it feels like something is turning, you're maybe reminded of more work that needs to be done here, especially with Saturn mixed in the second house. And I'm really talking about the past couple of years for you, Aquarius. But hey, things move. And I think even Saturn in your second house has been an opportunity for you to upskill, for you to level up when it comes to your talents and your skills, really, and to put in that hard work, to be dedicated. So Saturn will enter your third from May until September. So this is a taster of what's to come, but this could be on one side of this, right? Things easing up for you when it comes to your personal resources, your personal spending habits. So that's quite a positive thing, I think. But also remember, how you may have laid the foundation, so to speak, So hopefully being able to set yourself up for success long term. But the other part of it then is Saturn coming into your third is a taster of recognition and greater communication responsibility. So we're actually going to see you possibly being recognized for your communicative skills, for instance. And this could be a new chapter. This could be a whole new beginning for you. Identity shifts could happen related to this stuff because it's Aries. But by March, coming into Aries season, we notice here that the third and second houses will be activated by this Mercury retrograde, or Venus and Mercury retrograde, to be fair. So what we see then is it's an opportunity for you to review your qualifications and your training, how you seek to grow and how you seek to learn more. Be open to new skills, maybe open to new roles, new fields, new industries, whatever it may be here, Aquarius. It's really just an opportunity throughout 2025 for you to see, okay, well, where do I feel more aligned? Maybe this is about becoming a bit more spiritually aligned, a bit more spiritually attuned. But do keep in mind that this stuff is related to this money that you make from work and service. Okay. And if it is, for instance, that maybe you want to gain more money for the work and services you do, we could see some increases because of that recognition to do with communication. Okay, October time. We come into October and Venus will conjunct the South Node in your eighth. Keep in mind that yes, the eighth house is about shared resources, shared accounts, but a big part of that conjunction, though, will be a psychological release, which is linked to learning and communication. It's maybe linked to some new subject or a subject that you've already been learning about and how that subject is tied in with your work and services. But this psychological release could really help you get out of your own way. Maybe a part of this is letting go of harsh criticisms, or a part of this is even it could be improving, improving upon your skills. And like I said, with the eighth house showing up here, these matters are also linked in with how you join together, how you sort of share, collaborate resourcefully. We think about resources, joint financial planning with your significant other. Yes, so we could see a significant change or a release within you because, of course, the South Node will be in your eighth. Maybe a part of it too, Aquarius, is yes, having to come to terms with what you need to let go of so that you can feel more established or more successful when it comes to your personal resources and your personal finances with the North Node in your second. Then we come to December and Mars and Venus will be in your 12th. So by the time we come to Capricorn season, December, January 2026, we close the year. Hey, we could see this as you feeling a lot more established, a lot more successful, almost like 2025 was an opportunity for you to lay the groundworks, for you to go in and look at, okay, what's not working? What's not working when it comes to work and services and the money I'm making from my work here? What just contracts, agreements, what can I look over? What's not doing it for me anymore? So yeah, and I think even these situations will be tied in with your own personal transformations and your own self-growth. Indeed. Hopefully we could see greater success and greater reward, of course, based on the work that you put in and the opportunities that that arise and that you hopefully take on. Um, but you know what? I'm going to say this, just one more thing. Remember that Jupiter will be coming into your sixth from June of 2025. So, in actuality, we are going to see blessings to do with work and service. So, I do think that this is a year where maybe things have been a lot more stagnant, a lot more stale, right? With Saturn in the second. And it's not completely over, but I do see positive movement. Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Aquarius. And lastly, then, let's talk about you, Pisces. What is coming up for you financially throughout 2025? The first thing I want to mention is that if you have a Pisces rising, you're going to relate to this information so much more. Even if the sun or moon are in Pisces, sure, you may resonate. And also, I get it that not everybody is working and people are retired. People don't even have, the ability to work because of their health. I get that. Even the sixth house is tied in with health. But I digress. I'm really bringing this up because Mercury is the ruler of the money that you make from work and service. So I just wanted to highlight that. Mercury is retrograde from March until April in your second and first houses. So what does this mean for you? First and foremost, what we want to think about is you're going to have an opportunity, Pisces, during that period to clean up your finances, to get things in order. This is about your personal aims, your personal goals. This is about independence. This is about freedom. Think even about how the North Node is going to come into your sign as well from the 11th of January for the next 18 months. Eclipses are happening in your first and seventh houses. We're going to see real big changes to do with your identity, your goals, new beginnings, new horizons. Amazing. So we could even see this as new beginnings to do with work, to do with the money that you make from work, especially. This could be taking on a new leadership program or going back to the drawing board when it comes to leadership opportunities. Yes, I think things could really take off for you in many ways here to do with these areas. It's also a way then for you to reconsider your joint finances and how you can combine things with your significant other, with a business partner when it comes to paying off debt, loans, getting out a loan possibly, but recognizing that yes, you're going to pay that back, being strategic, being smart about it, but it's also about training. This is such a year for you to upskill. And I've been touching on, upskilling in many ways for everybody, but I do think that for you, especially here, Pisces, upskilling will happen so that you can maybe become more qualified or so you can become more established or accomplished. Even think about how Saturn has been in your sign since March of 2025, or sorry, March of 2023. My apologies. So that's been quite a long road. I mean, that's been great for you. That's been good for you to get down to business, for you to lay out some ground rules, for you to discipline yourself, for you to go, right, okay, this is the next chapter of my life. I'm gonna go all in. But hey, at the same time, healthy forms of rest, relaxation, and trusting in divine timing too. I get that as well for you, Pisces. Still, I just think when we combine this in with what I'm saying, just huge for you uh, when it comes to being recognized for the work you do. And hey, you know what? This could be more so about purpose and realigning yourself with your purpose, with your visions, your dreams. Then Mercury retrograde will happen July until August in your sixth house. So that will be in Leo, and that will be your opportunity to reprioritize your routines and your schedules. That will be a good way for you to go over your vitality and health, how you really feel within certain roles or positions. How does that you feel about, maybe money that you make from the work and services you offer? Maybe there is some healthy forms of being able to escape, being able to go within and to just reflect upon things. And then also Mercury retrograde will happen in November in your 10th and ninth houses. Hey, maybe questions will arise about enjoyment at work. Do you feel sane? Anything else you want to achieve? Maybe a part of it is linked to creativity and belonging and new direction. Think also about Sagittarius. I mean, Sagittarius is so much about freedom and growth and expansion within itself. So just another opportunity for you to reassess your roadmap. And this is something that you recently did actually throughout December. Just about, okay, where am I headed when it comes to my career? Where am I headed when it comes to my professional life? Or even thinking more so about your life's work, your life's mission. These themes could come up. Okay, let's then also consider how Saturn will come into your second house from May until September. Maybe this dip of Saturn in your second communicates a message of taking on a new skill, committing yourself to a different skill or a different practical project. placing new structures in place, laying new structures in place, new plans, new commitments. It's eager, it's inspirational. It's this go-getter influence. But remember, it's just a taster. Mixed in with Neptune, of course, Neptune will also be there for a short period, quite close with Saturn. Neptune is your other ruler, as well as Jupiter, of course, which we'll get to in a moment. But with Neptune, sure, yes, Neptune could suggest being overly idealistic, not seeing things clearly, being swindled perhaps slightly when it comes to personal belongings and personal resources, misplacing things. Hey, but hopefully we could also look at Saturn joining up as some healthy realism or caution, skepticism. But hopefully at the same time, too, it's trying to recognize whenever you sulk or sink into perhaps a dreading place, because there could be some fears that come up, or there could be this uncomfortable feeling that arises because of a new opportunity, because of a new role, a new skill. And to further mix in with this, okay, so coming to the end of the year, right, with the retrogrades in your sign for one final time, take some time to consider your purpose and your long-term goals. Okay. Take some time, especially to reflect upon the past, say, since 2011. Neptune has been in your sign since 2011, and then Saturn has been there since March of 2023. So think about how you've really shown up for yourself. Maybe, a big part of this is about how much you have evolved, how your identity, in some ways, hypothetically speaking, has dissolved, and how you've been called to be really fluid and changeable and adaptable and to be just open to the new. Spiritually speaking, emotionally speaking, it's so much about your own personal healing journey, I think, here, Pisces. But a big part of it too could also be about newfound inspiration, fascination, being interested in ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge, history, and just learning more about your ancestry and why, where you came from and past lives, and just a lot of those spiritual themes coming up largely here, possibly even tied in with creativity and art and all the beauty that comes from those things. Yeah, take some time to consider where you're at and where you wish to go. And then also Jupiter, your other ruler. Jupiter has been in your fourth house since May 2024. So maybe we're seeing here greater luck and expansion and opportunities to do with friendships and networks, feeling this greater sense of community and belonging with others, feeling supported in many ways, especially when it comes to communicating and networking, getting your message out there, Pisces. So think about this stuff with relation to the money that you make from work and service. So maybe offering your gifts, offering your services, again, networking. It could be about advertising, publishing, dabbling into many different areas and amongst different people, being interested in other people through engaging conversations and discussions, being mentally stimulated in this regard. And then Jupiter is going to enter your fifth house come June of 2025 for the rest of the year. So, in actuality, what we could see is you taking a massive step behind the scenes in a way to really explore, okay, what is it that I enjoy? What is it that I am passionate about? Do I feel fulfilled here? And that, I think, coincides a little bit with this end of the year contemplation that I just mentioned. And all of this is just a way to maybe prepare you for the next step when it comes to your work, when it comes to money. So, in actuality, what we could see here is that, sure, there could be plenty of opportunities to grow in your financial position, and especially thinking about the income from the work you do. But on the other hand, I think a part of it is about taking some time to really lay out what that looks like for the long term. Okay, so Pisces, thank you so much, Pisces. And that is everybody. Thank you all so much for listening today. If you did benefit from your reading today, your horoscopes. I did a live reading session before this. If you did, you can always buy me a coffee. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And with that being said, please make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, if you got something from it, subscribe for more, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.